So American culture has given us this mentality that we have to go, 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 go. And I really think that it's imperative that we just stop. I think it's imperative for our relationships. I think it's imperative for our work culture and our health. Sometimes life just sucks, and sometimes it freaking rocks. We will discuss all the things from family and real estate to travel and just life in general. So take a seat, or don't, you do you, and welcome to the Lumbadass Podcast. Welcome back to the Lumbadass Podcast. So today's episode I found very intriguing. I was sitting and I was thinking about all the things that I want to talk about, and it's funny how this kind of popped into my head. The long and short of it, really the short of the long of it, I guess, is I want to talk about rest. Resting is something that I feel that Americans are terrible at doing. It was funny. I saw on Instagram one day, somebody had posted a picture of an email that they received, and this guy had sent over an email, and it was like, these are my hours. This is when I work. I'm always available. This, and going nonstop, right, about his availability and how easily accessible he or she, I don't remember who, if it was a male or female, but how easily accessible they were to all of their consumers, and they were always there for them. And then the email response back was an automatic reply, and you could tell it was somebody in Europe. I don't know exactly where they were, but you could tell it was somebody in Europe. And it was along the lines of like, hey, thanks so much for your email. We are on holiday until the middle of September. We will be returning all phone calls and emails back then. And I started laughing because that is so indicative of how vastly different we are from other places in the world. I feel that in my line of work, and I'm sure there are so many other people who are not in real estate who feel this way also, taking a break, whether it's much needed, whether we define it as much needed or not, is so necessary. Can we just start off at the very beginning? The good Lord himself took a break on the seventh day, y'all. Like, he created the earth, and then on the seventh day, he rested. So I feel like if the Lord himself needed to rest, then his people should feel the need to rest as well. I think the common misconception, especially in my line of work, is if I'm resting and I'm showing you that I'm resting on social media, that it means that I'm not working, and therefore means that you cannot contact me, therefore causing you to contact another real estate agent to take on the business that you do so desperately need. And I know that in my line of work, that is something that I really struggle with. I have to make a valiant effort to not be on my phone. I have to make, and I know that that's probably an addiction in and of itself from, multiple people, not just real estate agents, but the resting portion, you guys, if I can vividly remember, and most of you know if you listen to any of my other podcasts recently, I just took an amazing vacation with my kids, and we went to Europe and had the best time. And I truly felt like if I wasn't doing something, I was letting deals go. And the truth of the matter is there are some deals that do need to go, right? If people don't understand boundaries in any aspect of your life, including resting, then maybe those are people that I don't want to work with. And maybe those are people who shouldn't work with me. I really do feel that being available 24/7 to anything is not a good thing. When I was a stay-at-home mom, I needed a break. I was with my kids 24/7, and I actually really love my kids. Like, even now, I love them when they were little. My son is literally sitting over in the corner on his phone listening to me tell him how much I loved being his mom. Not loved, I still am his mother. So how much I loved it. But you guys, I needed a break. Like, I needed to be able to use the restroom without little hands peering underneath the door. It got so bad, you guys, I'm not even kidding. Sweetie Pie would come. I would be using the restroom. I mean, literally needing 60 seconds. And he would come over and be like, open the door. Hey, what's for dinner? Can we talk about this in 45 seconds now? Do you mind? So I know what it's like to need a break. With that said, I have gotten better in my career at taking breaks. What I do, and I hope that this will help somebody out there, is I actually schedule it. So if I need time by myself, and listen up, ladies and gentlemen, I suppose, Time by yourself doing something for you, in my opinion, is not getting your hair done. It is not getting a pedicure or a manicure. Now, don't come at me because I know that those are all luxury items. Yes, I agree with that. However, to some of us, those are just the natural upkeep of what we have to do to maintain how we look, right? It helps how we feel. So what I prefer to do is go sit in your spa. Go read a book that you want to read, a trash novel, whatever, is something that doesn't have to do with self-help or being a better mom or being a better spouse or being a better this or being a better that. Read nonsense. I love reading. If you don't love reading, fine. Take a nice car drive. Go out to dinner. To me, those are the things that fill my soul like to the brim. So those are the things, and put your phone away while you're doing those. Now, I'm giving this advice as I'm working at taking my own advice. Okay, so if you're out to dinner with me and you're like, Lauren, I listened to your podcast last week and you said that you like to go out to dinner and put your phone away. Listen, Charlie, I'm trying, okay? It's definitely a work in progress. So on my way here today, I was thinking about when this starts, right? Like when this need of not resting begins. And I'm going to be straight. I think it begins when we're little. I think it begins when, as a child, we are told, what is it that you're doing? You need to stop doing what you're doing, and you need to, instead of resting, I need you to take out the trash. I need you to wipe off the counters, scrub the toilet. You have a test coming up. Have you studied for this test? And let's study again. Let's go over it one more time. I feel like as a parent, I feed into my child. And if I'm not feeding into them that they need to rest, that's problem 101 right there. So growing up, my dad, bless his heart, I love him. You're the best dad. But homeboy would make me get up no later than 9 a.m. on weekends. Now, as an adult, that is a luxury. Sleeping until 9 a.m. sounds glorious to me. To my dad, it was also a luxury to him. So he would make us get up, and it didn't matter what I did the night before. If I was at a dance and didn't get home until 12:30, it didn't matter. I was up at 9, or was it 8? It even could have been 8. I needed to be up. I needed to be doing something. I needed to be useful to society. And yes, he was right. However, my children get to sleep in on weekends. Very far and few between do I wake my kids up. And if I do wake them up earlier than when they're normally rising, I will let them know, hey, we're cleaning out the garage tomorrow. I need you up at this time. Just a heads up, stay up as late as you want playing video games, but I need you up at this time. And I do hold true to that. I will wake them up. Or, hey, I have an open house. I need help getting my signs in the car. I need somebody to come with me, whatever it is. I do let them know. But I even want to go a step further, and I've mentioned this again on my podcast before, sports. I think sports has put this incredible weight on kids and parents' shoulders of the need to be at every practice, at every scrimmage, at everything, despite what it is that you may want to do instead. Example, when my kids were younger, they were not allowed to play travel sports. Now, I say that very loosely. None of my kids really beat me up about wanting to play travel sports either. If any of my kids did, it was probably Carson, the baby of the family. And that only really started when, in 2020, when sports were like not a thing. So crazy. When sports were not a thing, like going outside and playing and being in organized sports, you weren't allowed to. He wanted to play travel because there were some travel teams that were still doing stuff, whether it be outside or they were able to get spots on fields and stuff like that. They just had priority. I think a lot of it came down to the almighty dollar, but needless to say. So we did go down that route for a little bit, and it was funny. My sweet girlfriend, Ellen, tells me I am 100% 50% of the time. And nothing has resonated so much with me, right? Yes, if I say I'm going to be there, we will be there. But I cannot give the full commitment that we will be there every single time. When we're there, we'll be there. We'll be on time. We'll be early. I will show up with snacks. I will come and deliver for the team. But if we have a vacation planned, my kids won't be there. One thing that I'm really grateful for is when my kids were younger, before they were playing polo and they were in baseball, there was not tournaments. It wasn't really tournaments because they always played like with the local little league or pony league in our area. But Mother's Day was always like the championship game, or it was like playoffs to the championship game. I think the championship game was the weekend after Mother's Day. And I vividly remember Sweetie Pie walking up to the coach at the very beginning of the season and saying, my kids will not be here Mother's Day weekend. That is the one day to celebrate, their mom. And so they're going to do it. Or if I gave the okay, then it was my birthday. We're missing practice because we're celebrating Mom's birthday. I'm very grateful that my husband was always, nope, it's Mom's Day. We can miss a practice or a scrimmage. Like I said, games were a little more different. I would normally speak up and be like, hey, no, let's let them play this playoff game or whatever it was. But for the majority of the time, we would take off. And if you do that in a travel sport, you know just as well as I do that your kid's ass is going to get benched. And they're disciplining the child for spending time with the family is how I looked at it. Now, you can also look at it like, well, if the kid's good enough to play, the kid's going to play no matter what, right? So you might as well take that vacation. But I have friends and I have family members who play travel ball, and they've told me their kids miss out on the birthday parties. Their kids go to dances late because they had these sports. And don't mistake me telling you to rest over me telling you not to fulfill your commitments. I understand you've made a commitment to the team, but I also don't think that your commitment to the team should override time that you have spent with family. So what we've done now is with 4 kids at one time that were playing sports and us wanting to travel and do all the things and show our kids the world and take time off for my sanity from my job to enjoy being present with my children. What we did is at the beginning of the season, we would ask for a calendar. The problem is 9 times out of 10, people aren't super organized and they can't tell you in December or January what's going to be happening in May. So it does tend to make things a little more difficult. So to sum it up, if I were to do it all over again, I would do it exactly the way that we did. Hey, Mom's birthday's on this date, Dad's birthday's on that date. We might not be able to make it because cousin's birthday party is on this date. I do think that kids need to miss things and they need to know that it's okay. Because in my opinion, in our family came first. And it still does to this day. It was actually really neat. So Jared, my 18-year-old, the one that's here today, he calls me yesterday and we were out to dinner to celebrate my husband's dad's birthday. And he had work. So he calls me and he goes, hey, are you going to be home by 6:30? And I said, yeah, we should be. Why? What's going on? Well, I was wondering if I could take the boys to the movies. Now, one of my sons has been away at a birthday party all weekend with his friend, and they had a great time in Indio. Thank you so much to the Savage family for taking my boy. But he'd been gone all weekend. And mind you, we're still getting adjusted to him starting high school and being involved in sports. My younger 2 have water polo practice 2 mornings a week, meaning on Mondays and Thursdays, they're in the pool at their school, in the pool swimming by 6 a.m. So it was a long week. He was completely exhausted. And he walks over to me and I said, hey, your brother wants to take you somewhere. But Jared's like, don't tell him where I want to take him. So your brother wants to take you somewhere. How tired are you? He goes, I'm tired. And I said, okay, then you need to come home and rest. And he goes, well, what does he want to do? And I said, he wants to take you to the movies, but I don't want to tell you what movie because he doesn't want me to tell you. And he goes, I'll go to the movies. So my 3 boys went to the movies last night all together because my 18-year-old son called to set that up with them. Now, that was definitely a balancing act. But what I'm getting at is even my 18-year-old son, who has a million things going on right now, he's in school, he's going, he's taking fire classes, he's in, what's it called? What's your fire thing called that you're in? Explorers. He's in Fire Explorers. He's doing all these things, and he took time out of his day to take his brothers. They didn't end up at the movies because what happened? You guys started too late or something like that. Or you guys, what happened?
National movie or something.
Oh, it was, all the tickets were like sold out. It was like National Movie Day or something like that. So, they were $4. That's right. So they were all sold out. And so he took him jumping instead. And it filled my heart so much. And then they went and got ices afterwards, even though I was like, be home by 9. At 9:30, I didn't have a phone call. And I'm like, where are you? So I did definitely say something about that because I knew the boys were tired. And again, they had morning practice this morning. But I tell you that long whole story to say, parents, your kids are going to one day leave you. And I do see all the memes on social media where it's like, you know what? There won't be somebody to take to practice. There won't be a uniform to clean. There won't be a game to go to and cheer at. But you know what? There won't be a kid to take on vacation either. There won't be a kid to sit down, pop some popcorn, let them lay in your lap and rub their head. Yes, my 16-year-old loves it when I sit there and rub his head. That kid is going to be gone one day, and that I won't have that either. So I highly encourage you at a young age to start explaining to your kids the importance of resting, because it's going to carry with them through their adulthood. When they go to work, they're going to know, my wife needs me. My husband needs me. I need to say enough's enough and I need to turn this off. That is something that as an adult is very difficult for me to do. I'm trying to turn it off. I was born and raised by two workaholics who are now figuring it out as well to take the time off and just go and travel. And I'm loving that for them. I'm learning that I probably have been struggling with this for the last, really struggling with it probably for the last 10 years, but I've gotten really good at resting for probably the last 5. So if I could encourage you people to tell your kids, yes, go rest your body. No, you're not going to the skate park. Let's stay home and just watch movies and let them pass out on the floor at, 5 p.m. or whatever it is. I really think if we start that at a young age, come adulthood, they will really prioritize their need to rest so that they cannot give 100%, but 200% when they are at work. So I think, like I mentioned earlier, if the good Lord himself rests, I think as people, as humans, we need to be taking the time to rest ourselves, and we need to start practicing at a young age. So that's all I have for you today. Resting, I know, is probably not like the most amazing topic to talk about, but I do think that it's imperative. I think it's imperative not only to our health, but it's imperative to our relationships, and I think it's imperative to our jobs. So I hope you guys are having a wonderful week. I hope you're working your ass off, and I hope you get the rest that you needed whenever it's convenient for you.